Alright, so what we're going to be talking about today is the characters of RE5 and how I think they'll probably change a handful of them. Not everybody will change, I don't think, but I think there are some characters and some things they do that need some changing. Whether that's their involvement in the story, when they're in the game, when you kind of deal with them, or kind of their involvement in the game as a whole. So I picked some, and you can agree with me or not, but I've picked some I feel like will have the most changes happening to them in a remake. And yeah, let's get straight to it. First and foremost, I think Jill will be the one that sees the most changes in RE5. I am currently pretty convinced that she'll be the main character in the next mainline entry, or at least in the game in some way. And I think doing that, they're going to probably mention the events of RE5. And if we're going off of the remake Jill, the current Jill, which apparently is the canon version. I think I've seen multiple times that the remake storylines, the remake characters are like the canon versions now. So if we look at that Jill, she's a bit more probably not as helpless. We'll go with that. Okay. So the whole point of this Jill was pretty much that she was under some kind of mind control and wasn't aware of what she was doing and stuff like that. She was to sacrifice herself to save Chris and whatnot, and I think that part of the storyline will probably stay the same. She'll still be, this brainwashed soldier for Wesker for a time, but I don't think they should keep the whole "who is this mysterious character" part of the game under wraps as much as they did with the original. Like from the get-go, it's pretty obvious who it is. Like they had the age-old trope of that character died, but where's the body? There's no evidence that they're dead, so it's most likely that they're coming back. And then you have this character. It's very clearly a woman with a mask on the whole time, and you wonder who that is. It was no shock to find out that it was Jill. So I think that part of the story needs to change. We know who it is. Everyone knows who it is, and it's not obvious. In terms of the fight with Jill herself, I think that should probably stay in. Whether they change it in some way, I don't know. But I definitely think that moment should still be in the game in some way, because it is obviously a big moment of the game. And I don't think they should change that much from what they already have in the game. Other than the boss fight probably kind of being completely different and having some different kind of solution to it. I don't know, they could keep it very similar, but they could change it slightly. But either way, that part of the game should stick. Next up we have Irving. Now Irving is the worst character in RE5, and it's not even close. His character is annoying, it's weird, the boss fight is kind of meh. And I definitely think they should kind of put more oomph into his character, especially with the first couple chapters of the game. He's the main guy you're going after at the start of the game, and I don't know, the payoff isn't really anything crazy. Like, you kind of fight him as a fish with a bunch of machine guns and rockets. It's really not a difficult fight. It's very hard to lose that fight, and they kind of didn't give him enough background. They didn't really flesh his character out enough to really care. So maybe the first couple chapters of the game should be more focused around him. And I know in the original game you're pretty much chasing him down the whole time, but he's not really present much. So maybe kind of have him influence the first part of the game a bit more. Kind of sticking to that kind of theme with characters that are present but not really used as much. Excella is like Wesker's partner throughout most of the game, and then you again see her die in a cutscene and then fight her as a monster that's very easy not to die on. It's a very easy boss fight again, and I do feel like they should really space these villains out more across the game. Like, have the first part be about Irving and what he's doing, and then have like a middle part maybe about Excella and what she's doing, which they do that, but it's not really as in your face as it should be. They kind of mention Trisal like a little bit every now and again, and that's that. But maybe you kind of split the villains up to each section of the game. So the first kind of part in like the shanty villages and stuff is with Irving, up until you fight him, and then obviously in the swamp area you can have it more about Excella, or even kind of in the facilities in like the 3/4 section of the game, and then have like the final big part of the game be about Jill and Wesker. I think that makes more sense than having them kind of just kind of there. I think that was one of the big things with 5. There were so many villains in the game, and they didn't really get their kind of time in the sun. Kind of look at Village. Village had its unique territories tied to a villain in the game. Yeah, some of them were longer than others, but at least there was a time in the game where you focus on that character specifically. So with the handful of villains we have in 5, I think that would make more sense to do that kind of thing, rather than just have them be there and then die in cutscenes and then fight them as a really easy boss fight. And then finally, the 2 main characters I feel change probably the most are Wesker and Sheva. We'll start with Sheva. She needs more backstory. She does mention what happened to her and why she became an agent, but maybe kind of fill in a bit more of that. Maybe have a section where you kind of do a flashback and play as her. Maybe there are moments in the game, I don't know whether they're going to keep it co-op or not, but maybe there's moments in the game where you do split up and you take control of Sheva for maybe a section, and it goes more into her story and stuff like that. Wesker, now we've seen him in Resident Evil 4 Remake a lot more. They've definitely kind of changed his character a significant amount, but he also still has his powers. I don't know if they're going to keep that as crazy as it has been in the original game. You can kind of zoom around all over the place in the Mercenaries mode in RE4 if you've played that. It's not crazy, but it is still present. So whether they keep that in or not, it's pretty much up to them. But my one kind of plea is to not make him look like a Matrix villain, you know, with the whole dodging bullets and the long coat and stuff like that. I think that kind of design was a thing at the time, so I think that will probably change. But as long as he's not like this ridiculous supervillain again, I think I'll be fine with it. But that's pretty much it. In terms of Chris, I think his character in this is fine. Maybe kind of roid him down a little bit so he's not like completely just muscles. I think how they did him in Village is fine, so maybe keep it at that level. But that's just kind of my overall thoughts with the kind of main cast of the game. There are optional characters like Josh and stuff like that, but I don't think their presence in the game was much anyway. Whether they decide to add more to those characters, I don't know. But I guess we'll wait and see. But I'm pretty confident a 5 Remake is happening. I did kind of just want to go over the characters today and kind of talk about what I think they could change with them. And there are plenty of topics around 5 that I do want to discuss in the future. So if you're interested in that, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts on the characters in 5 down in the comments. Do you think they'll change some? In which ways do you think they'll change them? Do let me know. And yeah, I want to try and get some more videos out for Resident Evil 5 as well as Code Veronica soon, because I really do believe that one of those 2 games is definitely the next one that we're going to get in terms of remake. But at the same time, like I've said a million times over, I really do think we'll get a brand new game in the series before another remake. But that is just my kind of thoughts on the whole thing. But as always, thank you all for coming by. Remember to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on so you do not miss a video. I'll try and upload most days and try and stream most weekends. So if that is something you are interested in, then yeah, go ahead and subscribe. But thank you all for watching. And as always, I'll catch you all in the next one.